What's up, losers? Today I'm going to show you how to go from building a house like this to building a house like this. Let's get to it. Alright, let's start with the average Minecraft player first house. So usually you start with like a triangle type of roof, which is really bad, and they use the same type of wood all the way around, and they're always using glass blocks, which are really bad. You have an oak door, which is ew. So what's the first improvement you can make? Well, you should add some framework. Framework's pretty easy. You just use oak logs. And what you're going to do is you're going to add it to the edges of the build. So you're just going to add them like right here. Usually I would tend to make my buildings about 5 framework high, so it's 4 here, because you have to think about it like this. The framework plus the supports over here, that's going to -1, so well, this actually would become 3 high, so that's a good amount of space. But over here, this is only 2 high, so you really don't want that. So always add framework. I would suggest 5 high. That's just the easiest. It's pretty easy. You just grab it, you go 5 up, and then you add like a little lip, and then you go all the way around the house. You get the point. It's pretty easy. So after you're done doing this, I would move on to the roof. Now the roof it gets a little bit complicated, but it's still pretty easy. So first I usually add an overhang. So you can see it's hanging over by 1, and it's hanging on the ledge by 1. So it's an overhang on both sides. And then this pattern is very simple to do. You just go under, over, under, over, and then you just keep doing that until both meet up in the middle. And since my house is a 9 by 9, you're gonna get a center thing. So what would you do here? You add an upside down stair, just like that, and then you come over here and you do the same thing. So I'll do that. Alright, so I did both of those, so now I have this, and now you just have to add the actual like whole roof. So it's pretty easy. You just connect them both, just like this. I hate adding roofs. So you just keep going like this, keep them the same, and then you're gonna go all the way to the top. Alright, so I finished this side, and this side's already finished. So what I'm gonna do with the middle, I'm just gonna grab the normal stone block, which is right here. I'm just gonna connect them, just like that. So now the roof is pretty much done. All I'm gonna do here is, this is probably the most complicated part. I just added that because I was bored. This is like the most like complicated part, because really it looks weird no matter what you do. So let's say you fill it in with oak logs. Here, let me fill this in, just like this. Do you see what I mean? It looks a bit off because of this. So what I usually do is, here, I'll just go on this side. I usually put it one back, like this, so that it matches with the actual walls inside. And then you could really just add anything you want over here. Just keep it simple. So like that looks a little bit better. Then I usually add oak logs because that looks the best. Just like that. So it makes it look a little bit better. You can actually, oh wait, no you can't. Okay. Yeah, so it looks a little bit better. Yeah, and it's pretty easy, so yeah. Alright, so now that you have the body of the house done, we can start going to the nice parts of the house. So first we're gonna start with the windows. So usually the way I do my windows is I don't have them all the way to the edge. So I'm gonna actually put them 2 blocks off the edge, and then 1 block off the door. So it'll look like that. And then I'm gonna change these for glass panes, and I'm actually gonna make them 2 high, like that. Oh, and you can use different colored glass panes. You don't always have to use the normal clear. I tend to use usually white or gray, so you could see the differences. White looks nice and light gray looks pretty nice, so you could use any of those. Then let's come over here and let's fix these. So I'm gonna pop these out, then I'm gonna put these in, just like that. Now, I'm gonna add a design here, so I'm gonna do 2 here, add a block in the middle, and then 2 here. You get it? Just to make it look a little bit nicer. Now, the reason I'm adding it 2 blocks off the center is because from here, it looks like 1 block. From the outside, it looks like 2 blocks. Because if I were to only put it 1 block off, you're gonna have something like this, and I don't really like it. See that? It's kind of I don't know. That looks iffy to me, so I would make it 2 blocks off the wall. So yeah, we're just gonna go all the way around. Alright, so I did all the windows. So you can see I did mine pretty simple. But for the back, I actually changed it up. So I did more of like, I just tried doing a different design to show you that you could do many different things. And actually, like, really, it's so you can do anything. Like, you can make this a huge window. This is nice, but for the next step, I'll show you why this is not ideal. So let's get to the next step. Alright, so the house is actually looking pretty good now. So I'm just gonna add some extra details that you should always add. So first, let's get rid of this oak door. And I'm actually gonna add a better door. I really like the dark oak doors, and I'm gonna put it one in. So you see how it's kind of inside the house now? That looks a little bit better. And then also, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna grab the grass block. I'm gonna grab some of these oak trap doors. I'm also gonna grab some ferns, maybe some saplings. I'm gonna grab the oak and the spruce. And then one more thing, I'm gonna grab the pot. What is it called again? Alright, I found it. So let's get to it. So, you know, you can do, there's different things you could do. So one of them is like, if you add to like just a grass block with oak doors surrounding it, it kind of looks like a basket. And then you can add some plants on top of it. So something like that. Looks pretty good. Or you can actually go for the half slab approach, which it's actually different because for the half slab you can only do flower pots. So, you know, like that, like that. That looks pretty good. Over here, so I actually kept this long design to show you guys something. So if you have like an odd number or you just want to change it up, you can actually switch up the way you do the flower pots. So you don't have to do them every single one or have a pattern. You can do different ones every single time like that. So it could be like a gap in between and like kind of looks like, you know, I think it looks pretty good. So I'm gonna do this one again. And then what I'm gonna add here, I'm gonna add just like that. I'm just gonna add one to make it look how I was talking about, and then one more, just like that. So it's looking pretty good. You know what I mean? Just adding some of these details. But there's also other details you can add. So this is something that you'll learn over time, just like little secrets. But if you add a dead bush with, where are the leaves? With some leaves on top, it actually looks like, here, let me, it actually kind of looks like a tree. This kind of looks like the branches. So you can just add these all the way around the house, and this will honestly add a lot. You won't really realize it until you kind of walk around, but they look really good. So yeah, just keep adding stuff like that, and eventually your house will look a lot better than what you see it as right now. Alright, so final thing I'm going to add is just a pathway. Which, I mean, not even a pathway, but we're going to add stuff to the front of the house, because that's really where you're going to be looking at it the most. So first, I'm going to start with just like a simple pathway. Now when you're doing pathways, you actually want them to look a bit off, because you want it to look more organic, you know what I mean? You want it to look like the pathway just eventually came over time. So I'm just going to give it a weird pattern. I'm going to add some of these extra little ones to look like, you know, some of them are not part of it, but you know, that adds a lot too. Then also you want to add some, you know, stuff around it, some little plantation plants. And also you can add, if you really don't like those, you can add just normal flowers. Alright, so I got these 3 flowers. These really good together. So I'm just gonna add these around, just like this. Add some blue orchids. And then I'm gonna add some white tulips. See that? So it looks a little bit better. And then finally, I think it's looking pretty good so far, but I'm just gonna make it look like this is where you wanna, because this already looks pretty good, like where you walk this way. But just to secure that, I'm gonna add some fences. And I don't really connect my fences. I kind of just make them go all over the place, just to, I don't know. I think it looks better like this rather than an actual connected fence. So although they really don't have that much of a use, it makes a difference when you're actually like walking and, you know. So there we go, just like that. And honestly, that's it. Alright, so there you go. That's how you go from a house like this to a house like this. Remember, just try adding extra stuff that you wouldn't think would be needed to the house. Like this house can actually use some stuff. So a good example of this would be if I were to add, let me get some of this. I'm gonna grab a spruce trap door, and I'm gonna grab a campfire. Where it's right here. And then you wouldn't think about it, but just adding small stuff like this. So I'm gonna add a little bit of a chimney. So Just gonna add like this, like that, add that, campfire on top. And I'll mess around it. This actually adds so much, like, you know what I mean? It's just something small, but it makes the house look way better than what it was before. So just always adding little stuff, you know, adding this little garden in front, adding the little plants outside. Like, it's crazy how much little stuff can do. So if you guys enjoyed, yep, give me a kiss. I see you.